Hello everyone, this is World Exposure. Although it does not surprise me, I just cannot believe we are all now having to put the mourning and vigilance of the tragedy in Arizona on the back burner because the flamboyant left wants to obfuscate it all by using it as political gain. And instead of coming together in such a time of crisis, the left wants to divide. Those on the left, including our president, after Fort Hood, demanded for people not to rush to judgment on the shooter's motives. Yet after the shootings in Arizona, there was no admonishment from those on the left. The left was and still is too busy pointing fingers at those on the right, yet without any intervention at all from the president. In a time that we should all be coming together for mourning and healing, we now have to take the time and energy to educate those on the left as to how they were involved in the very same things that they are saying the right is guilty of, that they also claim played a part in the shooter's motive. So it really upsets me when I have to find the time to educate them on their very own history. Like the Democratic Leadership Council in 2004, using the same kind of map that Sarah Palin has used, only their map targeted areas where the Bush margin was less than 10%. And the map uses warfare vernacular behind enemy lines, warning the country that Bush won 9 states by single-digit numbers. So now you're saying to yourself, well, Sarah Palin used crosshairs and the Democratic Leadership Council used bullseyes. Okay, fair enough. You also use bullseyes at a shooting range for target practice. And speaking of targets, what about the map used by the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee that targeted individual Republicans that showed their name and picture? And don't try to claim that the map didn't target the individual Republicans. The map's legend makes that quite clear. And speaking of enemy, who did our president say our enemy was again? Oh, that's right, it was Republicans, he said. At an interview with Univision, Obama stated that we're going to punish our enemies and we're going to reward our friends who stand with us on issues that are important to us. If they don't see that kind of upsurge in voting in this election, then I think it's going to be harder, and that's why I think it's important for people to go out and vote. So then, how are Republicans to be punished? At a fundraiser in Philadelphia, he stated that if Republicans bring a knife to a fight, then he brings a gun. Now, am I taking all this talk by Barack Obama out of context? Yes, I am. He never intended to mean that he would or wanted others to physically harm Republicans. Did the Democratic Leadership Council or the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee want someone to go shoot down targeted Republicans? No, of course not. No more than those in right-wing media or Sarah Palin intended for any Democrats to be hurt. And obviously Sarah Palin was not the first one to post this kind of map. It stands to reason that she got the idea from Democrats. So let's get back to praying and thinking about the families of those who had loved ones that were killed or injured. A CBS poll states that 57% of the people taking the poll believe that harsh political tone had nothing to do with these shootings. And I would say that if this nutcase shooter actually followed the right and was a right-wing extremist, then John Hinckley was probably a left-wing extremist.